Sat Nam, all you fabulous, fearless, awakening, evolving, wonderful beings. Mandeep here, coming to you to discuss, this is going to be interesting, how to self-regulate and gain mastery over intrusive thoughts. This is a term that has recently come into my awareness. I wasn't aware that people were actually dealing with something called intrusive thoughts. So I took it in, I processed it, and this is what I've got. I'm hoping that this is something that interests you, because apparently there's a phenomenon that is happening where folks are claiming to be completely overcome, overtaken, overruled by these random, usually self-destructive thoughts that totally freak them out and wondering, am I possessed? Are there evil forces at work? Are these thoughts mine? And if so, where the fuck are they coming from? Does this sound relevant? Probably. Actually, I have experienced this, so I mean, whatever. But hey, meditation can teach us, can teach you how to gain mastery over, now here's where it's interesting, your relationship to these thoughts. So it creates an alteration of how you're engaging with them. Yes, it is possible, and it actually is an incredible way to gain Jedi mastery over your mind. And there's a mosquito. Wow, we are inundated with mosquitoes, and there's an intrusive mosquito. We're inundated with mosquitoes right now in Las Vegas. The first time in 28 years of my living here that we've ever had mosquitoes before. It's very interesting. Okay, all right, back to where I was going with all this. Let me break this down so that you kind of get a concept of how thinking and thoughts occur from a yogic and a physical perspective. So our brain is designed, it's a master computer. It's designed to produce electrical impulses 1,000 times per blink of an eye. So in other words, every time you blink, and I've just had like 3 blinks in the last, 5 seconds, I've produced 3,000 approximately impulses or thought frequencies, thought waves, okay? This is a lot. So, these can ultimately produce a manifested complete thought that you bring into action, such as, I have to get into my car to go on an errand. And then you actually get into your car with your destination in mind and off you go. That's just an example. However, you're driving along, in the meantime, a so-called intrusive thought pops into your head, run the red light so you can get there faster. These are energetic impulses that have been incompletely stored. They're incomplete. They haven't fully processed and manifested into the earthly realm. They are stored in your subconscious field, which I'm happy to share extends for miles. It's literally a psychic weight and a minefield of unprocessed, incomplete, energetic impulses that hang out. These are frequencies. This is all about frequency. They hang out in the back of your mind and in your energy field and can pop in and create a reaction. Your ego wants to react with it, all right? The ego loves drama. So the ego will try to react with them and create a reaction to them in your body and your mind. So, where does that leave us? Well, meditation provides a technology to manage and literally remove these thoughts out of your circumvent field because it replaces them. You have the opportunity and the technology to replace these with a stronger superhighway Megatron frequency using breath and particularly using these coded sounds that we call mantras. What this does is when we create conscious breath and we apply coded sounds into this breath, we are creating what we call the witness perspective. And the witness perspective is where we literally step back. We're breaking the cycle. We're breaking the stream where it's directly reacting with you. You're like, nope, I'm pivoting. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look at that. So it's not like we're suppressing them, because that's another YouTube Live. We can talk about that. But what I'm suggesting is that you pivot, you reset, you gain perspective from a different angle, and then you can act, or you can basically move in a completely different direction. Okay? All of this practice, and this is a moment-to-moment practice where you're just simply conscious of your breath. It really is that simple, because as I said, your mind never stops producing thoughts. It is a master computer. It's created, it's designed to produce these electrical impulses, otherwise known as thoughts. So with this control, let me back up. If you have a conscious practice of just simply the breath, and that's what we're going to focus on today. I'm going to give you 2 breath practices to balance your mental energies. But if you just start to create a commitment to pay attention and be the witness to your breath and your thoughts as they're coming, and you're going to pop in and out of this all day long, and that's okay. That's great. Actually, that's like the human experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows, you're going to have happiness, you're going to have unhappiness. This is all part of being in this beautiful human experience, especially as we are awakening and evolving with our consciousness. So all of this meditation, particularly with breath, builds a steady, increasing awareness that creates an alteration and a redirection that you are in control of. You gain mastery over this. With this control, you gain a stronger nervous system. This is really, really important. You start to build your circumvent field, your auric field, to be super strong, which is very much shielding and also magnetically charged. And you also expand your radiant body, which is a subtle field that extends beyond the auric field and creates a lot of harmony, a projection of harmony. And you have the ability to project that for 25 miles. It's huge what we have the capacity to create. So stronger nervous system, heightened creativity, and most importantly, your intuition comes online. So you start to listen to your own inner wisdom and your own inner guidance that is influenced by your ability to maintain your sense of clarity. And I'm going to guide you today through 2 breath practices that I mentioned that will balance your mental energy. Now again, if you have comments or questions about any of this, because this is radical information that I'm just delivering and I'm just dropping. Maybe it's not so radical, because honestly, there's been, for a good 50 years, these teachings that have been in the West and very prevalent and available to us in the West through the Buddhist teachings, through Sufism, through yoga, obviously, all these metaphysical and mystical practices of these applied yogic arts and sciences have been readily available for really about 75 to 100 years in the West. So now we're starting to become very, very aware of them, because it's become very mainstream and it's in all the social streams, etc. It's everywhere. So let me get into it a little bit more, because I'm going to talk now and teach a little bit more directly about these 2 pranayams. So prana is life energy force, and when we start to direct the way that we're utilizing this life energy force, it starts to have a direct impact on the mind, because the mind follows the breath. The body follows the mind, and the mind follows the breath. Remember that. That's a great mantra. The body follows the mind follows the breath. Deep inhale and exhale. You're going to feel everything just soften, and you're going to have clarity just from that one deep breath. It's really amazing. Try it, and multiple, bazillion times a day. Just do it. So the radiance, as I just explained to you, what your radiant body is, it's very important to be radiant now. In fact, it's non-negotiable. The radiance and beauty of a person depends on the shine and clarity of his circumvent force field, which is your auric field. Typically, auric field should be at least 3 feet in diameter, and I'm talking about that it is not only in the 4 directions, but it's above you and below you. So it's a full-on bubble that encases you. It's a toroidal field that's constantly being fed internally and with the external and internal energies. It's a very, very powerful force that we emit. So it's known as the auric field. All right, so 3 feet in diameter, and this radiance and our beauty of you depends on the shine and clarity of this circumvent force field, which in turn depends on the balance of the left moon and right sun energies sides of the body. So again, we're going to break it down, yogic science. We have the right side stream energy, known as the divine masculine, the sun energy, right nostril, left brain. We have the left side of the body, which is known as the divine feminine energy, the moon energy, left nostril, right brain. All of this crosses, I can't do my fingers like that, but you get the idea. It crosses at the third eye. It gives this nice X. Boom. There we go. Right, like so. There's also a big mixing station here at the throat, and these energies flow in a very soft, waving cyclical pattern up alongside the spine, working with the central channel of light that the spine is in, which is where the Kundalini energy resides. So we have the Kundalini energy, we have the sun and the moon energies, we have the central column of light energy, we have the chakra energies, which is also in the central column of light, and then all the wiring, all these nadis, these streams of energy, these electrical energy currents in the body. We have 72,000 of those, and we're literally comprised of 30 trillion cells that all contain this spark of this God force energy, this life force energy, the God life force energy. So you're literally like 30 trillion living gods. That's what you are, walking around. Okay, that's pretty big. So the first breath practice that I'm going to offer you, rid your mind of doubt. Rid your mind of doubts. The mind has many stages and states. It's constantly generating the waves of thought that you need in order for you and your brain to relate to this world. This is how we manifest, this is how we navigate through the elemental qualities of how we relate to this world. Earth, fire, air, water, ether. It's got to manifest into one of those realms, okay? You may have been told that meditation restricts the flow of thoughts. That's a big no. That's a big nope. Nope. There's a movie about that. Nope. You cannot stop that was a great movie, by the way. I really enjoyed it. Bird Box that'll really fucking blow your mind. So just saying, kudos to Sandra Bullock. And I don't know who the director was on that, but it was like, so I'm like, what? Anyway, you cannot stop the thoughts from being produced, as your brain is a master computer, and this is what its function is to produce thoughts. I've already mentioned that multiple times in this lecture. So what I'm proposing and what I'll be teaching you with this Kundalini Yoga breath practice is to alter your relationship with these thoughts selectively. That's like unbelievable. That's cool. It's super cool. The second breath practice I'm going to teach you will be how to focus the mind. Focus the mind meditatively into the state of what yogis call Pratyahar, which is absorption, which is where you're going to tune all the senses inward. Instead of putting them outward, you're going to move inward. You're going to move into that inner witness state of reflection and full absorption. This is called Pratyahar. This is part of the process of moving your mind into the state of meditation. It has been mapped out by Patanjali, who's considered to be the father of yoga, and he has what is called the Eightfold Path, which is a blueprint, a map on how to move into samadhi, bliss, enlightenment. And it is, it's hundreds, thousands of years old, this Eightfold Path. But it is a map and a layout of how to master your mind and body and reconnect to your soul and spirit, which is where bliss and enlightenment, manifestation, freedom, this is where it exists, is having this mastery. Okay, so first one is ridding the mind of doubts, and the second one is training the mind to move into a state of absorption, Pratyahar. All right, without further ado, let's do it. So the first one, you're going to have the eyes open, and you'll have your hands in Gyan Mudra, which is where you're connecting your Jupiter fingers to your thumb, and you're touching the tips like this, not the nails, the tips. This is important. You want to sit tall. You want to sit tall. This is important too, your posture. So you can sit in a chair, you can sit on the sofa, whatever, but you want to sit with your feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting in a chair or on the sofa, you want to sit with your back away from the back of the sofa, not slouching. Sit tall, chest is lifted, your eyes are open, all right? And you're going to basically breathe in through the nose to the count of 5. Then you're going to hold the breath for the count of 10. And then breathe out to the count of 5. Breathing in to 5. Hold for 10. Out for 5. We're going to keep going. Don't worry about blinking. Just try to keep the eyes open. And continue with that rhythm. 5 in, hold for 10, and 5 out. We're going to keep going with this rhythm for another minute, and then we're going to increase a little bit more. So you're just continuing to mentally count. Now, I want you to inhale to the count of 10 and hold to the count of 15 and exhale to the count of 10. And continue. Inhale 10, hold for 15, exhale 10. We're going to continue with this breath pattern for one more minute. And to complete the practice, close your eyes and just come to the natural breath. And just sit still and integrate. So you can do that breath practice. We did it for about 3 minutes. Yeah, I think it was about 3 minutes. You can go with this practice 10 to 15 minutes. All right? So if you wanted to set a timer, you would do so, and you really just want to meditate on the flow of breath. So you're directing your thoughts and your focus to be fully on the breath, and this breath contains the divine spark of life. It's really, really powerful when we hold the breath in particular, because you may have noticed, but your mind got real quiet. It doesn't necessarily completely shut down, but it definitely becomes very quiet. So this is a technique to really control the mind and your thoughts, all right? So just meditate on the inflow and the outflow of the breath. Ooh, there's mosquitoes. Oh my goodness. All right, now the second breath practice that we're going to do involves a stroking breath. And we're going to have the eyes closed on this one. We're also going to be using our right hand and the Jupiter finger. This is the index Jupiter finger. The left hand's just going to be in Gyan Mudra on the knee. But you're going to use the right finger and to close the right nostril and the left nostril. All right? Your eyes are going to be closed on this one, and you're going to focus them upward to the space between the brows. This is going to directly stimulate your pituitary gland, your intuitive point, your intuition gland, your intuition chakra, your third eye. Now, when we create these strokes, we're going to be really focusing on creating a rhythm. So I want you to pay attention to that. We're going to start with inhaling left nostril and hold for 5 seconds, and then we're going to switch to close the left nostril and exhale out through the right in 4 strokes. So it's going to look like this. And we're going to continue with that pattern and really develop a rhythm. And you're going to have your own unique rhythm with it. And then as we continue, you're going to really focus on increasing the exhale to 8 strokes. So we're just going to hold. We're actually going to hold for about 45 seconds. All right, so we're going to hold. Let's start with holding for about 25 seconds, and then let's just gradually build up to it. Okay, so here we go. Eyes are closed, up to the third eye, right between the space of the brows. Right nostril is closed. Deep breath in through the left. Gently hold. Close the left, exhale in 4 strokes to the right. Inhale through the left. Hold for 25 seconds. Exhale 4 strokes to the right. Inhale through the left. Hold. Exhale in 4. Keep going. Now, still hold the breath for 45 seconds if you can. Go up to 35 now. And stroke the breath out 8 strokes. you would continue with that increased breath pattern of holding the breath for up to 45 seconds. You want to hold it comfortably, so no strain, right? So for me, I was at about 39, and then stroking out 8 strokes. And on the 4 strokes and the 8 strokes, if you need to stroke it out like 6 strokes, that's fine. But it's either 4 strokes or 8 strokes. And you want to completely empty the lungs when you do the exhale in the 4-stroke pattern. So you would continue with that practice for 10 minutes. And then you just simply, when you're done, after you've exhaled, you again just sit quietly and move yourself into just fully sitting still and observing. You're going to be in a really deep state of inner reflection, inner observation, inner witnessing. It's a process that you're building yourself to move into and training yourself to really create an altered state of mind and consciousness to view yourself fully and wholly. All right? So, there you have it. 2 different pranayams, which are very meditative in their practice and in their techniques. And remember, the body follows the mind and the mind follows the breath. So when you're struggling with these intrusive thoughts, take some deep breaths. And I've given you 2 different formulas of breath practice that you can utilize. And what I recommend is that you have a special place in your home or your office, wherever you're, whatever your environment is, you can create this special practice space for yourself, an altar, and put your intention into that, which is make that your space to go and practice on the daily. You can practice in the morning, you can practice in the evening, but honestly, if you're just like super busy and you've got a crazy busy, hectic job, just pay attention to your breath. Just stay focused on the breath. Take a few moments. I know you get to have a break, so take a break and just breathe. You know, go somewhere, even if it's not quiet, just go someplace and train yourself to focus deeply on just breathing. And you want to breathe through the nose as best as you can. This provides a direct filter into the brain that you can breathe through the mouth on some pranayams for sure, but in this one, we were stroke. What did we do? Did we stroke out the breath on the first one with the mouth? No, we did it all through the nose on this one. So there you go. That's my recommendation, and I strongly encourage you to just do it. So, until we meet again in the light of our hearts, go in beauty. Peace be with you. Thank you so much for your time and all your beautiful energy. And remember, just be you. Sat Nam.